Alright, so we're here on equal footing. Eshwar on his on his Persian. Safe OP versus risky OP. Babylonians. Carnage, the yellow trunks on the Babs. Eshwar in the red on the Persians. So, barrack starts pretty much the same time for both our players. That's what you want to see. The real juicy one coming up here. Camera working properly? The camera is working properly. I'll just fix that display there. So equal footing, the equalest of equal maps, and unequal civs, because balanced wine is always a thing. Never don't balance wine. So Carnage fitting in a ox cart here. Interesting trying to get it in this early. Wants to gather that wood really losslessly. 6 on the food as well, which is what he really needs at least, and then just to start getting on the gold ASAP. So this eco is going to be in a good spot. Eshwar's eco is a little bit more straightforward, just basically get 7 on the food and then just spam Spara. In fact, he's getting away with 6 for the time being, because it's a really nice distribution. Able to squeeze in the storehouse instead of going for a house to start with. So I don't know if they're both going to have uninterrupted production through all this. In terms of just military, like the villager production is going to be top notch. The two really good players. I'm better than both of them, okay, but I'm just rusty. XD. So Eshwar just massing up everything under his town center. Carnage massing everything up next to the hunt. Both of these are, it's a good idea because you don't want your opponent just basically picking away at a single spearman. Trading a bit of health off his scout, taking a bit off one of your units, and then taking a much better engagement. So Carnage is going to be a little bit slow on the gold here for his next spear. Eshwar will be pretty right with this Spara production. He's even going for another storehouse now. This will speed up his food gathering to get to age 2. Carnage is going to be moving across now. 6 spears, 6 Spara. Eshwar going to have a bit of defender's advantage in his scout. Well, Carnage's scout is here at least. Where is his scout? Eshwar's scout's checking out Carnage's base, so now he knows Carnage is raiding him. So 7 Spara, 8 Spara to 6 spears, so Carnage doesn't want to take this trade. Does not want to take this trade. Is he going to take it? No, he's just dancing, forcing Eshwar to gather from the safe spot. Carnage a couple of spears at home. Not producing any more though, because again, he just doesn't quite have that gold gathering to mass produce spears here. Well, Eshwar, his spears, well, the Spara only cost 50 gold, so I mean, only cost 10 gold each, so he's got 50 gold left. Sorry, guys. So 50 gold left, he can make more, or even save it, try and get hunting dogs or handsaw when he ages up here. Eshwar aging up now. Carnage hasn't yet started that ziggurat. He's got the resources now, so he can do so. Going to try and force Eshwar off the storehouse, but the scout's going to have to try and tank. Ooh. Carnage trying to save the spear, but almost losing the scout in the process. Eshwar still going to get that spearman ultimately, but Carnage is raiding Eshwar over here. Interrupt a little bit of gathering. So a bit of gathering being slowed down here, but ultimately Carnage might just be able to get the storehouse, and that'll probably be it in terms of the value out of this. Not wanting to stick around and take a fight, because Eshwar does have 12. Spara to Carnage's 7 spears. The beauty is, these guys don't fare as well against lancers as spearmen actually do. So by forcing a lot out, Eshwar's not really as inclined to get Spearmen here. He wants to start archery and stables production pretty quickly, as well as get his second TC. Carnage obviously getting a second TC shortly as well. He's a little bit of wood under what he needs, but he's not very far off. Eshwar knows that he's up on military, so if he deals a little bit of damage here, he can really set Carnage behind. He's got to play quite safely. This is an extremely safe town center. Carnage is taking this very safely. Be able to retreat here, but the Sparrow take very little damage from the town center. Got that Pierce armor, they've got a large health pool, don't deal a lot of damage. Aren't as effective against cavalry as any other type of spearman unit, because they aren't actually a true counter to them. Whereas the Bab Spears are wicked damage against cavalry there. And even slightly higher base damage. So Carnage is going to transition to Lancers. So these guys, yeah, they're not going to be as effective as Spears would be. And Eshwar looking to transition to range and stables of his own. Carnage doesn't like to use a huge amount of bowmen when he plays Babs though. Really only just enough to kill individual spears. And otherwise just rely on high Lancer counts to actually win fights. Until he can get like raw guards or mounted archers. It's been nice for Carnage as well. A lot of easy food there to hunt. So another stables for Carnage. Eshwar getting another barracks. And it'll be, yeah, be switching to Spearman production over Sparrow. Because the Sparrow will just be sitting ducks against mass Lancers. Eshwar's going to be delaying any stables of his own. For the time being, well, Carnage will probably get another archery range here, I'd say. Or add his first archery range in response to Spears, rather than Sparrow. But Lancer's just given the option of being able to tie up his opponent around the map, dictate the pace of the game, get most of the raiding done, hope it gives you an eco advantage, just because you're able to kill so much more of your opponents than he is you, or at least interrupt a huge amount of gathering time. Delay buildings and that sort of thing. Eshwar is a really solid player though. So he's already got spears on defense here. It's enough to ward off the Lancers. Carnage trying to harass with his spears in the meanwhile as well. Scout's really low. Hasn't got ointment yet. Really could probably do with parking it a little bit further away from the walls and getting it, considering it's so cheap. Eshwar hasn't gone for it either, he's just sitting his scout to the side. He's got a lot more health on his. It's raid by Carnage, not going to achieve much, going to take out the storehouse and sacrifice a spear. The storehouse, a bit of a junk building at that stage because Eshwar's already finished gathering there. It's really just line of sight that offers for him. So, Carnage bringing everything back home. The third stables. No range just yet. It's just been mass spearmen here from Eshwar, and ultimately these guys do win out over Lancers. They do counter cavalry harder than Lancers counter them. Basically, they do win on like cost and population efficiency, basically. So Carnage not going to want to stick around here. As soon as he sees the spears, doesn't even engage, doesn't want to get snared. And this just means both players now have pretty much got a passage to age 3 here. Carnage already gathering a bit more stone. No armory on the way yet, so I'd imagine he's probably looking... Yeah, there we go. He's rallied onto the stone. So he's looking to go to age 3, I'd say. Eshwar in the meanwhile getting armory upgrades instead. Looking to mass up and try and push, I think. Just judging by the fact he's not floating any resources, and Carnage is floating roughly 300 of everything. So he's in the position to go to Silver Age here. Eshwar's not. Eshwar on the other hand, more on the field, 50 to 53 eco in favour of Carnage. So Eshwar's got a bigger army overall by about 15 population. Carnage hasn't yet added a range. I think it could be pretty helpful considering there's a lot of spearmen there. So he's not going to want to get more Lancers. Or want to add... you know, too much infantry here. And it's just spamming Lancers, because I suppose if you can afford Lancer Champion, it makes it hard for Eshi to actually make this engagement. He's going to get Scale Mail first. It's a really good idea. Help undo the damage that Lancer Champion or a possible early temper from Carnage will get. So Silver Age on the way for Carnage. Eshwar still spending up. He's doing a great job of spending everything. The only thing he's really floating is stone. And I imagine it's because he does eventually want to transition to Age 3 from here. Carnage without Lancer Champion can't just rely on charges to kill. So Age 3 is on the way. Just looking to produce some more. Bit of a dip in Carnage's production at the moment. Eshwar in the meanwhile has really pulled ahead on army. So this could hurt Carnage in the long run here. He's not actually producing any more Lancers. Age 3's kicked in, so his town center is going to be tankier and hit harder. Lancer's going to be able to deal a lot of damage at home here. Champion's not finished yet though. And yeah, Carnage no archery ranges yet, so he can't really stop the spearmen and then rely on Lancers, then getting Champion to clean up all the bowmen. Carnage will be focusing down individual bowmen with the 2 town centers here. He's been trying to raid, but he's had to leave. Eshwar, a lot of villagers garrison there, but they're back to work now. So, Champion not quite finished from the Lancers, but they're fighting under their own town center. There's enough of them. There we go, they got Champion now. Enough of them that they should be able to clean up these spears that don't have Champion. They do have that armor though. But Eshwar, it's a huge army though in to support this. Eshwar trying to pick off an ox cart there. He does ultimately get it. That's a very nice snipe for him. Carnage can't get a huge amount of charges off in such a tight space, but at the same time, Eshwar chasing him through his base is taking a lot of damage from these town centers. The charge trying to thin out Lancer spear counts here. Carnage floating a huge amount of wood and with no gold in the bank. He needs to get on a gold mine over here somewhere. Can't produce anything, and GG. Eshwar taking the game. Eshwar, the machine. He spent and gathered so well there. So he went barracks range, basically, and then added armory. Carnage didn't scout those far berries. That's really unfortunate for him. But the Lancer count obviously meaning your total. Oh well, I suppose that, yeah, Persian ability to mass stuff with a quick training bowman and just cheap infantry. GG guys. Eshwar really making it work there. Probably do the same map actually, guys. See what our players want to do. Eshwar has better vanity, so he wins. We're going to do Treasure Island for the next one. We're already straight back into it. Here on, it's not equal footing. 2 sec, guys. So we've got Carnage and Eshwar here on Treasure Island today. And a Persia versus Babylonian. A repeat matchup of what we just saw with Eshwar dismantling Carnage. Not far into Carnage's age 3. And this big push as Persians. Eshwar here. Sorry, Carnage here in the yellow trunks. His barracks. Eshwar in the red trunks, starting his barracks. Here on Treasure Island today. This saw a phenomenal high level game on equal footing. And we're about to see another one here. So make sure you do this, guys, because it means these can't scatter. If you got a villager going to kill these, most of the time, unless you have like the building bug, which, you know, people sort of do take advantage of, these guys will scatter everywhere. If you don't kill them, they'll also naturally just start to deviate and scatter as people spend time around the deer. I don't actually know 100% how it works. It's just crazy that it does. So Carnage needs to make sure he actually gets enough gold early on here to maintain the spears. Personally, what I find works is if you send 6 villagers to the food, go 3 villagers to the close trees, go 3 villagers to the gold. That way you can get the first house and have plenty of gold for continuous spear production. Either get an ox cart or a 4th villager on the gold, keep making houses, and then worry about getting another ox cart for your wood. I find that way is the easiest for Babylonian players to actually mass spears. Eshwar getting plenty of sparring, not a hard unit to get early on. They don't take a lot of gold. So Eshwar already got a lot more gold than Carnage, who's already gathering gold. 3 on the wood, 2 on the gold. And it's only a fairly close spawn there. He will eventually need 3, but considering he's so early, for now he's alright. Carnage, I think, is going to do a better job of consistent spear production this game. Last game, he honestly didn't do a great job of it because he's probably still used to the old gather rate. Because probably nearly 2 years ago now, the gather rate for everything got reduced by 20%. Really changed the game. Slowed it down, made it much more controllable in the early game. Builds actually made more sense. It wasn't just which build can spam more stuff. Or, you know, it was just a blur. You couldn't actually really get anything done till about, well, 12 minutes in or so, and you're already in like age 3, late age 3, and you've been spamming stuff into each other non-stop, even still. Oh, so 8 versus 8 here. Carnage is actually splitting his spears up. Eshwar's already across 2 hunts though. I actually played this map against Carnage earlier today. Nice work from Carnage here, actually finding a bit of space, making Eshwar chase the majority of his army while he's almost able to kill a villager here. But he is still going to be risking a spearman for this. But this is really smart. Eshwar's actually trying to raid Carnage, but Carnage is pushing on to the next hunt already. So Eshwar has the food to age up here, but now he's going to have to spend wood on repairing the storehouse or adding another. Carnage can actually probably take this fight, I think. Eshwar repairing the storehouse now. He's got 5 Spara on that second hunt. Carnage is going to have to... Oh, he's actually gone up towards the top side. He's been a little bit lucky there with the hunts. Spar are going to be extremely tanky though. I don't know if Eshwar's going to... Not actually looking at the moment, so he doesn't see he could push Carnage's villager off there. But he's going to be able to punish Carnage's hunt eco here. Carnage tying up Eshwar over here. This is overall a bad fight for Carnage to take, but at the same time he interrupts gathering. He is going to get a villager for his troubles. While meanwhile Eshwar forcing Carnage off the hunt to the one on the other side of his base. Carnage actually walking away from this fight. I don't think he actually saw this. Oh, he does see it. But he's so preoccupied with what's happening at home, he doesn't actually get the chance to interrupt this. Oh, bit of idling, bit of garrison micro as well to keep the villagers alive. Couple of lobies there. Carnage just trying to make sure Eshwar's not fishing, but he will have seen this now and he'll realise he'll be a bit late to actually do anything here. Eshwar already going for a range. Carnage will be aware though, so that'll be nice intel for Carnage for sure. So Eshwar trailing on population and trailing on villagers, but the villager gap right now is a little bit natural because of how the civs take their H2. So Carnage is going to need to get stables here pretty quickly. Eshwar going for double range. Carnage might be looking at going fishing here. He's looking at the coast, he's keeping an eye on it, making sure Eshwar's not fishing. Eshwar will be making a lot of bowmen really quickly here. It's cool that's actually in the colour. Silver Age is in silver and gold is in gold. Yeah, Carnage still patrolling the waterline. Checking out that hunt as well. Might actually push the woodline too. Eshwar no aid tent yet. Hasn't taken a huge amount of damage on villagers, but if Carnage can pick off this low one here, which he will, just instantly deletes her. Eshwar, a lot of villagers forced back now. That storehouse being caught a really nice time, but Eshwar, double bow production. These spears are going to have to get out. They're not going to get a lot of value done. Eshwar can cut him off, and he knows it. Carnage could actually step inside and push back up this way towards Eshwar's gold, but sort of dug himself into a corner now. And I mean, he would have to have like a sixth sense to know. Eshwar pulling ahead on the population. Carnage just trying to snipe one last villager by the look of it. No, he's just trying to make it through. Eshwar trying to wall in his villagers there. Adding another barracks. Carnage in the meanwhile adding 4 rangers. So rather than going for the lancers, Carnage is just going to mass his own bowmen here. And Eshwar's not gone for any stables, so it's a bit of a mind game play here for Carnage. He knows what build Eshwar has been opening with in this matchup recently, because he's just lost to it, so why not try something different? Especially because what you were doing was a little bit too melee-centric. In saying that though, I think one of these probably should be a stables. But 4 bowman production here from Carnage, that'd be immense. Not even getting anything else at the moment. Eshwar, no stables yet. Neither player going fishing. So they're playing very army focused. They want to make sure this next fight counts. And Eshwar is up on population. Down on eco by about 6 too. So Carnage has actually got a smaller army here. But because it's just bowman, he's going to have an opportunity to out-trade Eshwar from range. And force Eshwar to have to make stables here. So Eshwar now adding his first stables. He's unaware just how heavily Carnage is committing to Bowman here. He's probably assuming, oh yeah, Carnage will have a stables and a range and, a bit of a mixed army. No, Carnage will just go from one end of the spectrum to the other. Do you want mass bowmen, or do you want mass lancers, or do you want mass slingers? Do you want a bit of variance? Do you want me to get a lot of war chariots behind lancers? You never know what you're going to get with Carnage. So Eshwar going to have to back off here. Carnage going to get a lot of damage done. Really smart play here. So Asabara production has started for Eshwar, but now he's going to have to try and add 2 or 3 stables more, just to really cut down these bows. And meanwhile, Carnage can obviously add his own stables, start producing barracks units again. Population is favouring Eshwar still. Carnage is going to try and push, prevent this dock from going up. I don't know if he's going to get there in time. It looks like he may just do. Eshwar with a huge, nice mixed army here, but it is lacking a little bit in terms of cavalry firepower. It's a nice catch there by Carnage, going to delay that dock. He's got to deal some damage now. Eshwar getting shield rim at the moment too, so if he waits till that goes up, he'll be better off for it. Carnage just needs to make sure he takes this engagement as best he can. The shield rim not quite finishing for Eshwar in time here. Carnage is leading in terms of army pop, total pop still. Up 11 eco pop at the moment too. Eshwar ultimately cleaning all that up. Persian bowman strong. Eshwar getting barbed arrows now. He's got his ranged armor. Now he's getting ranged damage. Carnage, no armory upgrades yet. He's now adding a lot of stables. He's up to his... got a third. He's got to add a fourth. He needs to actually start training out of this third one though. Eshwar adding a couple of docks now. He's finished off that first one. He's going to add another one. 74 to 61 in favour of Carnage for eco population at the moment. They seem to finish off these other houses. In fact, I think he might get housed here in a second. I don't think he realises Eshwar's actually housed at the moment. He's going to try and take a fight, but that's a huge number of bowmen there for Eshwar. Carnage still in age 2, so he doesn't have champion on these bowmen yet. On these lancers yet. Eshwar ultimately going to force Carnage to turn back there. Still adding a lot of bowmen. Eshwar getting a nice mixed composition. Adding in a few Asabara. Few spears, Spara. Still got about 35 bowmen, so he's not looking at... oh, he still is adding a couple more. Carnage adding his last couple of houses now. A lot of lancers. Gonna want to get armory here or go age 3. Because he's got a lot in the bank. Carnage, get age 3. What are you doing? You've got plenty in the bank. Trying to raid here, keep Eshwar busy. Armory's on the way here for Carnage. Eshwar lacking a little bit of gold, but now he's got a lot of gatherers on it again. Carnage should actually... What are you doing? He's paying way too much attention to his base. He could take a good fight here. 8 Asabara loses to 16 Lancer for sure. The spears are on the way, so Carnage is going to want to get out of here too. So that's good control there. Another range on the way for Eshwar, but he's not actually got anything building it. Bit of a command bug there. So Carnage going to get a couple of villages here off Eshwar. Eshwar pushing, going to get a couple of villages off Carnage, in fact a good number of them. That's a lot of bowmen there too. Carnage on the run at the moment. A couple of Lancers going to get intercepted and taken out. Carnage not quite enough defenders as well. He's going to need to get on this gold mine back at his own base. Nice and safe. There is another one over here he might be inclined to go for. Eshwar going to get a little bit of damage done here. This will be nice for him for the next fight or two. Carnage doesn't have pharmacology yet, so any bit of damage that can be done helps. Eshwar doesn't have aid tent either, so same goes. A lot of low bowmen here. He could probably top up at his aid tents if this game was a little bit slower paced, but for now they're just looking at taking fights here. Carnage nothing off raiding at the moment. He wants to try and have the best fight he can against Eshi. Eshi with a huge backline and Carnage with nothing to really counter it at the moment. Carnage, Lancer Champion and Shield Rim on the way here. Eshwar, H3's just kicked in as well, getting Bowman Champion. Getting Asabara and Spearman Champion. And GG. Eshwar takes another game off Carnage. Crazy stuff, man. How does he do it?